Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you all here. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. I'm in a good mood. Actually ran into a couple viewers today. I was in the heart of Boston, which is really my backyard. But you know what the thing is, guys? I took my son on a duck boat tour. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with those amphibious vehicles. They can go on land and sea. He got to drive it. It was really cool. But for me, I'm a big history buff. I can't get enough of history. Basically, so many different, I'm not going to bore you with everything I'm interested in, but suffice it to say, and you probably can relate to this, maybe not, but we tend to ignore, in terms of history, we tend to ignore sometimes what's closest to us. Proximity bias, reverse proximity bias. And I always enjoy, I would say, especially if you're living near a big city or in a big city, I would encourage everybody to go out there and take a tour. Take a tour of the city that you live in, like a history tour.
The whole point was getting away from history class.
Anyway, guys, today I want to talk about something. Everybody's making videos on the mythical fusion, right? Now, this mythical fusion, what do you guys think of her? The spider? She doesn't have her spider on the screen, though, huh? I guess it only comes to action when she actually... Oh, let me switch.
She's a itty bitty spider.
There it is.
And a string jacket round her waist.
But we're not here to talk about her today.
Am I a joke to you?
As part of this fusion, now we can get our hands on 2 legendaries as well. So maybe you've decided, you know what? I'm not going to go for this fusion. It's too tough, or I don't have any of these champions. Maybe I have a couple. I wanted to actually shine a light on a legendary that's part of this fusion, right? And it's Keeyra the Watcher. Now, some of you who watch all of my content, the 2 of you out there,
Hey, look, small crowd, but they're very, very lively.
you'll know that I actually pulled her and I built her in a building 5 random legendaries. Yeah, building 5 random legendary champion. It was her, it was Killian the Lucky, it was, am I gonna remember anybody else from that video? Well, you can check it out. I'll link it to you guys in the description below. But she was actually a nice bright spot of that video, right? She was really cool. Jag Bonespaw was another one of them. But she was really cool. And you can get your hands on her for 4 kind of mediocre epics, you know? So I would encourage, if you're not going to go for Lady Mickage, or maybe, you know, maybe you just really need her type of kit, I would encourage you guys to consider her. She is the highlight by far of the non-mythical here part of this fusion. She's the best. It's not even really close. Frankly, the epics are pretty underwhelming, which, you know, I don't know how you feel about it, right? Because, for example, Tatsu, I do not have Tatsu, but she's pretty underwhelming for a legendary. So are you happy about that because you're going to be sacrificing her for the mythical? Or are you sad about that because you'd rather have a legendary that you can actually get your hands on, right? Vis-a-vis the fusion, because you don't have to go for Lady Mickage if you don't want to. Anyway, I digress. Why is it that now a free, I guess, do you call them free, or are they just accessible, easier to get? I don't know, but I guess free to get.
You are so naughty.
Keeyra the Watcher for everybody legendary wise. Really robust kit. She's really, you know, the spirit version of a champion. Before we review her real quickly, she's a spirit version of a tyrant, right? He has the ally protect and the increased deep, the same ability, essentially, the exact same ability that she has on a 3-turn cooldown. He's magic affinity. Now, the rest of their kits, the A2, the A1, are going to be a lot different, but, you know, there's only a few champions that have this ability. The ally protect, 50% damage mitigation, and on that same ability, also bring the big version of increased defense. There's also a force affinity champion, Versed the Grim. He has the same ability as well, right? On a 3-turn cooldown, increased defense and ally protect. This is one of the best damage mitigating abilities out there in the game, because obviously ally protect is a straight up 50% damage mitigation, excuse me, or mitigation too, you know, migration, mitigation, combination.
We're all a little bit off topic here.
All right, increased defense is great to have too, the big version, right? So the only thing that's really missing, and there's no champion in the game that has this, but an ally protect, an increased defense, and a strengthen, all in the same ability. Don't worry, there'll be some mythical with it in a day or two, I'm sure. Player, I'm listening right now, taking notes. Ooh, next mythical, Power Creep Central.
You're the one that was leaking information.
Keeyra is actually real. A lot of players can benefit from this champion in so many different areas. That's the beauty of this champion's kit. She's the spirit version that has this ability, right? But there's a lot more to her than just that. I actually want to start with the base stats, almost 20k base HP, 1400 base defense, 104 base speed, okay? On her A1, she has a 70% chance of placing decreased attack. Very good land rate. It is a single target hit or a single hit on the A1, so it does mitigate her viability in Fire Knight, which is the only area I would say she's kind of lackluster. On the A2, an AoE smashing spree, 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, and then 100% chance of placing a decreased accuracy as well. This is a great ability for Bommel the Dreadhorn, right? And she's Spirit Affinity, which is great. The passive, we already talked about her A3, Ally Protect, increased defense. Passive, whenever an ally is attacked while under an Ally Protect, places a decreased attack debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. There's no cooldown here. Essentially, this is like a mini Krisk. It's a Krisk without the decreased defense. Kinda, sorta. You know, it's actually a better land percentage because it's all the allies under the Ally Protect, not just one champion. But then again, you can make the argument he has Provoke and he gets attacked a lot and blah, blah, blah. But I digress. It's a great passive. Think about when you combine everything here, specifically when you combine the A1, the passive. She's one of the best decreased attack champions in the game when you combine the passive with the A1. And then the A3, right? So think of all the damage mitigation from decreased attack, and then everything from Ally Protect and everything from increased defense. Again, this is why you can benefit from her everywhere. Speaking of everywhere, let me just pull up hellhades.com really quickly here, right? They give her an overall grading of, where's her overall grading now? They changed around the website and I'm screwing up here. Well, I already know what it is. It's a 4, I think. 4.5, 4. I'm scrolling as far up as I can here, guys. That's all I got. I think that she's a 4.5 or a 4, which is out of 5, which is a really good rating. Okay. So what do they say? Great for faction wars. She's a dwarf. We know that. She's allied protection, increased defense. Yes, we love that. Universally used. Bringing in for clan boss is optimal. The passive can be seen as a budget version of crit. That's what we just said. And a decreased attack on enemies on allies under allied protection. This coincides very well with their A1. She also has decreased accuracy for Bommel, which you mentioned as well. She can place as a 100% chance in adding the versatility of this legendary dwarf. That's the decreased accuracy. Okay, so where can we use her? She gets a 4.5 in clan boss, a 3 in spider, a 4.5 in ice golem, hard mode 3.5 ice golem hard. I would argue 4.5 ice golem hard. She's just as good in Ice Golem hard as she is normal. She's easy to keep alive, and she's going to support your team. Dragon 3.5, progression anywhere you can use her. Hydra any floor. She's super tanky. You can use her Hydra floor 119 in hard. Doom Tower 4, Iron Twins 4. I mean, really solid. Doom Tower, Celestial Griffin 4.5, Eternal Dragon 5 out of 5, Frost Spider 4, Scarab King 4, Magma Dragon 4, Nether Spider 4. Well, you guys can read, right? She's so versatile, guys. She's so versatile. Let me show you how I built her. Charlie, I'm trying to record. You can come in, but just be quiet. I'm almost done.
No, that's the biggest lie I was ever told.
All right, guys, so I put her in one of my favorite and most underused sets in the game, Guardian. So this is, I'm playing with fire a little bit here, guys, right? Because Guardian gear on a champion that already has ally protection, she's already taking a lot of damage. So we got to make sure that we're building tanky enough or with a reviver so that she can really take these hits. But if you can build her with Guardian, consider it, guys. She's going to be the ultimate damage mitigator in Guardian because we're absorbing 10% of all damage dealt to ally champions. So she's got a built-in 10% damage mitigation. When you have the ally protect, it's a 50% damage mitigation. Why do I recommend Guardian even with ally protect, which again will really serve her as host of tons and tons and tons of damage? It's dangerous. I'm doing it because she's so reliable with the decreased attack that we can tend to take that damage. So Guardian Gear is great. Moreover, Guardian is also healing us by 10% of our max HP every turn. Damage absorbed is not reduced by defense. Same rules apply to ally protection. So we're essentially bumping up that ally protect to 60 and then having 10% damage mitigation when it's not up. We also have perception on her. We do need a lot of accuracy. We need accuracy for the A2, for the decreased accuracy, and for the decreased attacks, which are everywhere. One thing on this build that you could argue is might need a little bit more accuracy for the end game with 331. Granted, I do have the accuracy masteries, which don't show up on the stat sheet in 2 of them. So, you know, maybe around 340 or so, but we're going to need a little bit higher, especially for end game dungeons, end game Doom Tower hard. I do have HP on the banner right now. I have defense on the amulet, and I have defense on the ring. Now, this is a really good ring. I would probably go HP, a little bit preference over defense. However, she is a defense champion, and her defense scales very well at 1409, so you really can't go wrong either way. I went HP percentage on the gauntlets, and I went defense percentage on the chest. I went speed on the boots. And again, just looking for some speed here. I'm gonna glyph out that accuracy for sure, because we definitely need, or could use a little bit more. So stat priorities on this champion. I mean, we just went over everywhere you can use her. It's a lot of places, right? More accuracy. Let's do it. I actually have her not too fast, but I think faster than necessary. I just happen to have these trip speed rolls on Guardian Gear, you know? I don't think we need her at 260 speed. Frankly, I think we can get by at 200 speed, you know? Especially depending on where you are in the game. But our stat priorities are going to be accuracy, HP, or defense, HP, survivability, right? Accuracy, survivability, speed. She's fairly easy to build. You could definitely make the case in building some resistance on this champion as well. You know, resistance is going to be nice to keep her alive, to keep her coming in with the buffs. And it does, you know, kind of parlay pretty well with the combo of decreased accuracy and high resist. So that way we're resisting a lot, right? But even with the resistance I have on her right now, which is, you know, barely 200, she does have that nice starting resistance of 52, so you can take advantage. You know what? Let's throw on a resistance banner. I'm talking myself into it here.
Oh, that is my boy.
You know, you don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to put a resistance on the chest or anything too, but let's do it, right? So there's a few different ways to build her. If you're not gonna go with Guardian Gear, I'd consider triple perception. Just build her nice and tanky. You could put her in immortal gear, is really good on this champion, right? You could put her in protection gear. I think that would be the way that I would go. Stone Skin and Bolster are totally fine too. So let's go ahead with, what am I doing? Oh yeah, resistance. I'm making the swap. Do I have any good resistance gear available is the question. I kind of sort of do. I'll take it. Make her a little bit slower, but it's all good. So now we can take advantage of that 50 resistance and 313. Not bad at all, right? So a little bit of resist. Like I said, she's a fairly easy champion to build. I went Intimidating Presence with her on a Blessing. I get the extra defense, you know, strengthen my team's aura, weaken my enemies. You could go, because she's going to have accuracy already and she does have an AoE. You can get a little bit of damage out of her. You can get 5,000 H. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make her my Brimstone champion too.
Who do you think I am?
Right? Now she can add some really solid damage. She has enough accuracy to land it. So 5,000 HP. Now we can have 30% chance of placing Smite because she is 3-star awakened. Sign me up. So Intimidating Presence. You could go Faultless Defense. You could go with, this is going to reduce damage per hit, right? We could go with, heck, we could go Dark Resolve on this champion. We can go Indomitable Spirit. You know, we can go Lightning Cage on this champion as well. So there's quite a few options here. You can even go Temporal Chains if you want to. You know, there's a lot of, she's a very versatile champion, really in every aspect, and including her build, right? Let me go ahead and show you how I have her masteried out here. Support, offense. We did pick up Rapid Response. Just as a heads up on Rapid Response, guys, you want to be careful of this if you have her in any sort of a speed tune team, especially a clan boss team, right? We do have Evil Eye. We came down with Master Hexer, and we picked up Sniper as well. Keep in mind that Sniper is going to benefit that decreased attack on the A1, so I do recommend you pick it up, bring it up to a 75% land rate. On the offense side of things, we just hugged the left-hand side. We came came down, we picked up War Master. There's definitely a case, especially in the arena, to forego the offensive tree, go defense, go with Defiant, go with improved parry, or you can just go with Blast Proof, come down with Resurgent, come down Delay Death. You can get the Retribution for more decreased attacks, and then you can end off with Unshakable to build her with very high resistance, or go Eagle Eye if you'd want to. I just don't think it's necessary to go Eagle Eye on this champion. So there we go. We have her kind of in a damage build without necessitating any crit damage or crit rate, because we have it in the Brimstone in the War Master. So that's the build, guys. You could experiment with crit rate if you wanted to on the gauntlets, because another kind of cool thing about this champion is on her A2, her A1 is a 3.6 multiplier. Her A2 is a 3.8 multiplier. That's going to be around the same damage when you factor in her defense, roughly speaking, as a Crush the Mangler on his best AoE attack, as a Huskarul on his best AoE, his only AoE attack. That's not bad damage at all, you know, for a defense-based champion. She's not going to be there with, like, you know, a Trunda or anything like that, certainly.
Well, why not?
But it's not bad. So if you're keeping her alive, you could consider min-maxing damage, especially for Clan Boss, as long as she's staying alive, of course. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take her into battle here. Enough talking about her, and let's take her into battle. All right. You can use her, like I said, everywhere, guys. I just ran her in this team. I don't even know if I should show you all these runs because it's going to take a long time, but I ran her in this team. You know what I'll do? I'll just come to you when we get to the Ice Golem, right? So I ran her on like a fast, no, I'm sorry, not stage 25. Of course, you could do 25, but the same team, we did hard 10 with this squad, okay? So actually, I'll stick with you for a little bit. And then we will, and we changed that, let's see if we resist anything here. I'm very curious. With that resist banner, right? I wasn't resisting anything, really, before I swapped that banner out. So let's go ahead and take a look-see here. So we have Elva. Now, in this team, and you guys can do the same, if you put a Reviver on the team, she's going to be dying. I have Seer's Karma Burn shut off here. I'm not sure if I have to shut that off. I might not have to. I'm not sure. But she is going to be dying because she's taking too much damage from these big, big attacks. But that's why we have a Reviver on the squad, you know? But let's go ahead and see here. So everybody has the Ally Protect. She should be landing the decrease on this next hit on the decrease attack on the Ice Golem. If not, then we're going to need more accuracy. No, we land it. So there it is. I mean, now we can keep everybody alive, right? And she's healing herself every turn as well. From her gear, her Guardian set. And Elva as well helping out, right? So she's actually staying alive here. Very, very nice. And I gotta say, man, like, I probably could just use the Seer Karma Burn. That way she dies and get things over with a little bit, but she's gonna be revived, and that's kind of the issue. So it would run faster, ironically, if Seer and Kymar would just die already, you know? Leave these three to it here. But we're gonna be okay, though. Okay, so she does die, but she's gonna get revived, unfortunately. But you can see, it doesn't have to be a team like this. It doesn't really, frankly... And this is why I was hesitant to like show you too many runs in too many different areas, is because what she's bringing to the table is fairly universal, right? She's really bringing, you know, we didn't even talk about the decreased duration of all buffs on the target. That's really good too on the A2, you know? Sometimes there's only one buff, or maybe there's 4 buffs, but they're only 1 turn anyway, and you can strip them all down, right? You do have to be careful. You can use her in Hydra. For that same reason, that's going to be a great ability to decrease accuracy and the removal of buffs. Just be careful, though, because we don't want the Ally Protect to be stolen, you know? I personally am not a fan of running a lot of Ally Protect unless I know I can lock down the Hydra heads, and I'm very confident won't get stolen. I do run like a Chris team and stuff, so I do run Ally Protect, but it's always kind of a crapshoot when you start to run the big Ally Protect buffs because, well, you don't want your champion taking damage when you do damage to a Hydra head, right? Similar to like a reflect damage champion. You just got to be careful. Not to say you can't use them. You can have a lot of success with them. You know, she finally goes down there, just taking a ton of AoE damage, but again, that's why we have a Reviver on the squad. And frankly, I think that this point in the battle, even if we didn't, I think she'd be cool I think Walking Tomb Drang would be cool to kind of finish things off here. Guys, I want to show you a Frostbiter duo run with her. And you know what? Let's just use Walking Tomb Dragon again. Normally I use Ignatius, but let's use the two Spirit Affinity champions together again. They're a dynamic duo. So I'll come back to you when we finish the Ice Golem, and then we'll kick things off with a quick Frost Spider run. Be right back. All right, guys, not too bad. She almost put out 1 million damage there with the Brimstone and the War Master. As I mentioned, you know, it's not bad because you compare her to another, that she would be around Elva, basically. Maybe a little bit more with the AoE, but she'd be around like 200, 300,000 damage without both of those, you know, parts of her kit there. So she's definitely adding a little bit there as well. It's nice to have. Again, guys, I could sit here and show you. I especially love her in Bommel, but we're just not on a Bommel track right now, so I can't show that. But a great decreased accuracy who brings a lot of buffs, a lot of, you know, useful buffs as well. I'm going to show you the final stage of Frost Spider and Doom Tower Hard right now. I just assembled the team, the squad. It's her and Walking Tomb Dragon. Now, it's impressive that she can keep Walking Tomb Dragon alive at the Frost Spider, but I think it's probably more impressive that she can keep this dude alive throughout all of these waves as well, right? Because, well, they hit kind of hard, and they're very tanky too. It's weird. You guys know how it is in Doom Tower, right? Some of these waves, they're like super easy, you know, on some bosses. And then some bosses just randomly have very challenging, very difficult waves. You don't know what you're gonna get, or I guess we do know now, but it's kind of weird how just some of them like are, you know, you could have a rare just wipe them all out, and some of them like this one, it just takes a little bit longer. But you can see she's placing the Brimstone, helping out with the damage. She's obviously keeping Walking Tomb alive. Walking Tomb Dragon's great too because he has a great heal on his A3. That guy's, man, come on, dude, he's insane. That champion. All right, so here we go. Oh man, Torments. All right, I'll be right back at the Frost Spider. You guys get the point. We're gonna melt through the second wave just like we did this one. All right, guys, here we go at the Frost Spider. Let's do it. So we're not resisting right now. So I'd rather have her resist these debuffs for Frost Spider. So again, in this content, you could definitely make the case we should go with the tier 6 resistance on defense tree, or just add in, you know what? I'm glad that you guys, the true OGs, watch until the end of the video. You guys get the bonus tip.
Hey, come on, man. It's just me and you now.
I actually think that Righteous gear is great on her as well. You know, I was remiss in not mentioning that earlier. I try to stay away as much as I can from Righteous and Bolster just because it's kind of tough to get. I don't know, if anybody out there is free to play, like 100% free to play, let me know. Let me know if you have any good Righteous and or Bolster gear, because I don't know, I'm not free to play, clearly, and I'm not sure how accessible it is here after, you know, a year or a few months or whatever it's been, depending on the set in the Forge. But you guys can see, like, very easy to keep this squad alive. She's soaking up the damage, she's healing himself, and he's healing her too, which is great. I didn't see the ratings on her. Did I even read the ratings on her for kind of the newer dungeons? Let me see. She gets a Iron Twins. That's what I was going to mention. So Iron Twins, I call it a newer dungeon. Iron Twins is like super old. Really not going to see a lot of use in Sand Devil or Shogun, but they give her a 4.5 in Iron Twins. Definitely very capable there as well. All right, man. Oh, there it is. Boom. Hey, new best time. Keeyra just putting in some work there and helping out a little bit in the damage too, guys. Listen, she's definitely a champion worth using if you're in progression in this game. You can even use her in, you know, well into the end game as a support champion like this as well, especially if you need this sort of skill set. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.